since we're talking about money, and we saw Mike Perry fighting Jake Paul, I think that's huge, right? I think how the fight coming to conclusion, and can you tell us how much money Mike Perry is making?
I can't tell you that, but I will tell you that he's making, more money that he's made in. And I'm not throwing UFC under the bus, but triple the money that he made his whole UFC career in one fight, right? In one fight. And with us, he's made very, very good money. And look, we did overpay him. We did. But we overpaid him. We knew we were doing by overpaying him because we knew that people would talk about it.
Yeah, he delivered too, right?
So,
the guy.
But he delivered. Exactly. So at first, we jumped up. Meaning, when I say I overpaid him, I didn't overpay him for what we got from him. I overpaid him for what the market value was for him, right? Like if he fought for another organization, he would have got, 30% of what we were paying him. But he delivered. And everybody's talking about Mike Perry, right? Like, and in all combat sports, he's a face. So the Jake Paul thing I thought was a great idea. He had one fight outside of his contract, and I thought that this was a great opportunity. They mentioned some other names before, and I talked to his management, first-round management, and I said, I don't like it. They liked it because they thought it was a good opportunity outside, but it just didn't make sense. There's really no lose situation here. The only lose he has is if he gets knocked dead, right? Like dead. If he loses a good fight, I don't even think it's bad for him.
But what are his chances on the fight? Do you like his chances?
Yeah, look, he's got a granite chin.
Yeah,
right?
That's what
so it's going to be hard. He's got a chin, man. But again, it is a different sport.
He's bigger too, yeah.
Bare knuckle, it's a different pain. Like you still can get knocked out, but you get hit with a knuckle and you're like, whoa, what was that, right? Like that's different than getting hit with a glove.
Luke Rockhold, he felt that, right?
Yep.
Do you think he felt different on BKFC? Because he used to fight MMA, but once Mike Perry punched him on the face and broke his teeth, I think people realized
it was different.
That's different.
It was different.
That's why I don't know, man.
Look, this is different. This isn't for everybody. It's not. But for who it's for them. Like it's for Mike Perry, and that's why. Look, I'm a little afraid of him fighting outside in a different sport because he could ruin his whole persona. He really could, but. I just think he's fighting for something different, like he's fighting for his family. And you guys know that if you have a different why that you're fighting for, you fight a little harder. And he's fighting for his family. He's not just fighting, to get another win and get a little bit of money. He's fighting to change his family. And I think that because of that, I think he's got a great shot. Look, people underestimate Jake Paul a lot. Jake Paul can box. Yeah. He can box. And I think it's going to be a tough fight for Mike Perry. But I don't think Jake Paul walks all over him by any means.
Yeah, I agree. And he's very big right now. He's a heavyweight right now. He's looking very big.
That's the only thing that makes me nervous because the fight is at 200 pounds, so it's a little heavy.
The fight's at least at 200?
So the fight is a little heavy for Mike Perry.
Yeah,
but he's tough, man.
We saw Mike Perry being over point in UFC, even on striking, right? Sometimes I think even Vicente beating him. But like you say, I think now he's the face of the bare knuckle. So at the same time, are you his manager? No. But you work with his manager? No.
Yeah.
To get these big fights, Jake Paul fight.
Yeah, we have to talk about everything because he's under a contract with us. But this is an unbelievable opportunity for the guy. It changed his life, right?
And do you think of course, if he goes over there and knock out Jake Paul or something like that would be huge for BKFC too. So win-win situation.
Unbelievable for him, man. Unbelievable. Imagine that. He knocks out a guy that's going to fight Mike Tyson. It just blows him up. It's unbelievable for him, really. It's crazy.
And I'm sorry, I'm so curious about that fight too. And since you are on the industry, how do you feel about Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight?
A little nervous about it, to be honest with you. Especially now that Mike had to pull out because of a medical issue. Not that it's anything that has to affect his fighting, but he's 57, and I've been in boxing my whole life and in combat sports my whole life. And the first thing to go in boxing or combat sports is your ability to take a punch.
Yeah.
The last thing to go is your ability to deliver a punch. So Mike Tyson, if he doesn't get hit and cracks first, he's knocking Jake Paul out because he can punch, right?
Yeah.
But if he gets hit, who knows? He is getting, was he 56, 57?
Yeah, that's so.
It's I don't love it, but You know, if they want to do it, I'm not going to tell them they can't do it. I mean, at the end of the day, is he's putting his own life on the line, and you know, a grown man, you can't tell him what to do. Now you can protect people, but if he passes all the tests, and if he really looks the way he looks on the internet, as fast and as hard as he's punching, then why not?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know a video. I don't like the videos, brother. Jake Paul is posting the video and say, this is for 3 years ago, brother.
Yeah.
And like 57 and 54, I think is huge difference. But like you say, who am I to tell Mike Tyson, one of the greatest combat sports of all time, like legend to everybody. And I hope he beat the shit out of Jake Paul, my brother. I don't know if it's going to happen.
I mean, look, man.
But I hope so.
If Mike Tyson hits him, you know, it's over. I mean, when he fought Roy Jones, I don't think that they were really trying to destroy each other, knock each other out. But I think if he's throwing with bad intentions, it could be a bad decision for Jake Paul.
I gotta ask about that because I've seen like rumors that like Tyson gets paid more as the fight progresses, like basically incentivizing him not to try to knock out Jake early. Do you buy into that stuff, or have you ever seen that before?
I've never seen that before. I mean, you know, anything's possible, but that's hard for someone to sign, right? Like,
right.
His whole thing is he wants to go in there and knock him out, right? And 8 rounds is going to be a long night for Mike Tyson, but 1 or 2 rounds isn't. So for him to get paid less on that, I don't know if he would sign a contract like that. I wouldn't if I was him.
Yeah, I gotta go back. To the Mike Perry. I was watching, and then I think that was the moment. I could be wrong. It could be all the moments. But I love the moment when he called out Conor McGregor to come in to do the face off. I think that was like boom. You agree?
Yeah, man. I think there's been 2 or 3 turning points for us, and that was definitely one of them. Like, you know, not just that he called him out. You know, we talked about it before, and I thought he was going to call out who was in attendance for that?
Alvarez, I think, Chad Mendes.
Cowboy Cerrone was there. I thought he was going to call out Cowboy, but he saw McGregor was there, so he called him up. So he gets in the ring, and that's great. And he challenged him, and it was an unbelievable, epic moment.
It was huge.
But then he didn't stop talking about it for like 2 weeks afterwards, about bare knuckle and the face-off Conor McGregor. And I was like, man, this is crazy. And unbelievable turning point for us. But then, you know, we are doing a show here at the Hard Rock in 2 days. And this is another turning point for us. And the reason why is this is our highest amount of people that'll ever be here at the Hard Rock for a combat sporting event. And it's the highest grossing ticket sales ever for a combat sporting event here at the Hard Rock. All BKFC guys, all guys we brought up in BKFC. No big stars coming in. All guys we brought up. So I think that was another turning point. Like, we wanted to see, when can we make it without the big names? And now we're starting to, the sport and the brand is starting to really take off.
Yeah, that's impressive. And that's another thing that I want to ask you, because I don't know for you, but for me, Mike Perry is the face of the bare knuckle. But I think maybe you want to have somebody else as a face of the bare knuckle, in the meaning like a bare knuckle fighter, not an MMA fighter. Do you have that guy?
And well, you know what? I hear what you're saying, but Mike Perry's a bare knuckle fighter. Now, he's a bare knuckle fighter. I mean, he's not an MMA fighter. He's not a boxer. He's a bare knuckle fighter. He's 5-0, and he destroys everybody he hits. So he's a bare knuckle fighter.
100%.
Now I understand what you're saying.
100%. I'm not.
No. I get what you're saying, and yes, there's guys we're grooming up, like the 2 guys that are fighting the main event actually on Friday night. One of those guys, if one of those guys wins in devastating fashion, they could be kind of the face of bare knuckle. You know, to be honest with you, Mike Perry, because of his name, and his popularity, he became the face of bare knuckle. But there's other guys out there that would love or still think that they should be the face of bare knuckle. And people are already training for bare knuckle, or you like kind of people training for boxing? How do you see that? There is another sport evolving? So another thing, remember I said turning points. Another turning point was there's a lot of big franchise gyms around now that are starting bare knuckle programs to teach bare knuckle. And now we have a lot of guys that have 100 amateur fights that would normally go to the boxing Olympics are now saying, I want to turn pro. Not that they would give up the Olympics for this, don't get me wrong, but they have great amateur careers and they would turn professional in boxing. They're now saying, I want to turn pro in bare knuckle. So they're starting their career in bare knuckle. And that's another turning point for us. We're not just taking guys from boxing or taking guys from MMA, which we had to before. Why? There was no bare knuckle fighters. Like some of the guys, some of the naysayers were saying they're using, older MMA fighters. Well, guess what? There were no older bare knuckle fighters. There were no bare knuckle fighters.
Yeah.
So we had to create them.
You build a sport like UFC. And I remember being in Tampa when Thiago Alves fought for the belt. And I remember on the prelims fight, a guy was fighting like old style boxing, like a mustache guy, brother. It was like the 30s, I don't know. And I thought maybe this is because bare knuckle is deep. You don't fight like so you have to teach a program. It's different, right? It's not like regular boxing. The guy was fighting like that to protecting the body.
With the small gloves, it's hard to defend. For you with no gloves, it will be way harder.
So like you say, was a different experience the first time that I watched live, and I think bare knuckle is great.